Hello, good afternoon. This is Austin from the Austin channel, and this is my first review since coming back on vacation. And I'm going to review Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, starring Kristen Stewart, Vin Diesel, Garrett Hedlund, Steve Martin, Chris Tucker, and newcomer Joe Alwyn, and directed by Ang Lee. And so Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk is is based on a novel published from 2012, I believe, or whatever. It's based on a novel written by Ben Fountain, and it's about a young soldier, the title character Billy Lynn, who's 19 years old in 2004. And funny, I was 19 in 2004, so that means Billy is born 1985, just like me. So Billy Lynn becomes like a hero in the national news in this deadly battle in Iraq, for rescuing his platoon sergeant, played by Vin Diesel. And he pulls him to the side and then engages in hand-to-hand combat with an Iraqi insurgent, and killing the insurgent. And after the battle, after the fight, Billy attends to his sergeant, played by Vin Diesel, and Vin Diesel dies. And so it starts where he returns home. It's a lot of flashback sequences, so I just want to say, if you're someone who's not into flashback sequences and you have ADHD or ADD, this is not your movie. But I would say the flashback sequences is beautifully done. The fantasy sequences is beautifully done. When they're at the press conference, Billy and the rest of his platoon is at the press conference, and they're asked what they do in their spare time, and it's like the screen goes to gray, and he envisions his fellow squad members going saying at the same time, well synchronized, masturbate. Well, they don't really say that, but then it switches back to reality in Collar, where they say, each of them say their own hobbies of what they do in their spare time since coming back home for their 2-week victory tour before heading back to Iraq. It's like there was some halftime show where they parade down the parade on stage and parade down the parade on the field with Destiny's Child, which, okay, the actresses who play Destiny's Child, they don't look each of them don't look one fuck like the real members of Destiny's Child. But they got Kelly Pickler in this movie, and they got Richard Sherman in this movie as one of the football players. I mean, like, hey, I didn't expect Richard Sherman to be in this movie, but Richard Sherman from Seattle Seahawks, in case of those of you out there who are dumb in football, in understanding football or knowing anything about football. Richard Sherman, he's with the Seahawks, and he's their number one guy. He's the guy with the dreadlocks. Black dude with the dreadlocks. I would say with the performances, Joe Alwyn as Billy Lynn, he's a newcomer, and this is his first movie role, and he was decent. It's not like, oh, give the kid an Oscar, but he was decent, and I look forward to seeing what he does in the future. Maybe, who knows? Maybe if they reboot Fantastic Four, maybe have him be Johnny Storm. Who knows? But anyway, they have Vin Diesel was good in his role as the sergeant who later dies in the battle, Shroom, where he's like this Hare Krishna guru type of guy who says all this Hare Krishna type shit, like, But I mean, his role was pretty cool. Garrett Hedlund was a hoot. I mean, as Sergeant Dime. I mean, just some of the sarcastic shit he says. I mean, like after Billy stops talking to Richard Sherman, he's like, "Hey Billy, did you find where they find the did you find where they stashed their steroids?" Like, and he does it with such a straight face. And another scene where he tells off this greedy businessman, played by oh boy, what's this dude's name? Tim Blake Nelson. Like how he tells off Tim Blake Nelson, and another scene like how. And this a scene near the end of the movie, like how he tells Steve Martin a piece of his mind, and Steve Martin is the guy who's hosting them to his halftime show. He owns the football team, and now he wants to invest in their movie, and then he's not even man enough to say what a ripoff deal he's offering them. He has Chris Tucker as the Hollywood agent doing his dirty work. And then, of course, yes, you have Kristen Stewart as the older sister Catherine, who's a survivor of a car crash. I remember a few months ago, somebody on IMDb cracked a really lame joke like, "Oh, even her crying is wooden." I'm like, listen, I put like, you're a fucking on the comments like, you're a fucking idiot. That is not tears. That's actually her down her cheeks. That's actually. Her character survived a car crash, and that's a prosthetic scar makeup that she's actually wearing. And you're a freaking idiot, and you need to be drug tested before getting on the internet. But she was good in her role. It's not like hand her an Oscar. I personally think that her role in Catface Society is the more Oscar-worthy performance, but she was good in her role despite the limited screen time she was given. Mackenzie Lee, who plays the cheerleader love interest for Billy, named Faison. I looked at her in the trailers when this movie came 6 months in theaters 6 months ago and on the internet, and I'm like, okay, this is the character I won't like. But surprisingly, watching this movie, she's another character I liked. The rest of the squad, especially the team member named Mango, I don't know this actor's name, but he was a pretty cool character. And then this bartender Hector, who who's doesn't like his job working as a bartender in the stadium, but he wants to join up with the military. He too was a pretty cool character. The only characters I just did not fucking like was Billy's parents and other complacent ass sister who are they're so for the war and so two-faced in their views that the mom who wants to who thinks she's so intimidating, she bangs on the table and to silence Kristen's character with oh, you're talking politics at the table. Never mind, they're the ones who mentioned the war first and asking questions about the war first, but because Kristen's character, because Kristen's character is the opposite, meaning she's against the war. It's like, oh, shut up. Well, you know what? No, maybe they need to shut the fuck up because, Kristen's character pretty much represents how 80% of Americans really felt about that war. So there, you're in the minority. You need to shut the fuck up. But but again, hey, like Hubert Humphrey once said, majority rules, but minority rights are preserved, even if they're on the wrong side, right? So yeah, I guess we got Hubert Humphrey to blame for that one. But I mean, I liked this movie as being it's not pro-war, anti-war. It's like it's not a pro-war lecture, super patriot super patriotism stuff like Hacksaw Ridge, or what? Well, I haven't seen Hacksaw Ridge, but that's what it when I see the trailers, that's what it projects. Or like or an anti-war lecture like, I don't know, Platoon or Apocalypse Now. It focuses on the experiences of the soldier, and that's what this is. This is about the soldiers, what they do, what they go through, and it shows both sides of how they're genuinely appreciated, even if it's like in Kristen's character's case, where it's like, hey, you shouldn't be fighting this shit. The morons who send you there, if they so want this war, they should fight it themselves. Or what, to me, I think that itself is genuine concern. Sometimes anti-war is the new pro-soldier, you know, and being anti-war itself is patriotic and standing up for the troops. Not because it's civilian rule. Not because it's civilian rule. You have the right to take advantage of these guys, and I like that the movie kind of addresses that issue. Another thing, and then you have the fake. Then you have the fakers out there who, like Steve Martin's character. I mean, he was good in his role, but who just wants to exploit them for just for the big bucks, and for the attention, to build attention to his own agendas. And then you have the ingrates out there, like the roadies who attacked them, the arrogant roadies of the halftime show, who end up attacking Billy and his squad at the end of the game. I mean, yeah, you have pretty much douchebags out there who wants to pick fights with troops. They want to get over their guilty conscience of how so not so tough guy they are. So how to be Billy Badass? Oh yeah, pick a fight with someone who actually fought a war. But eventually these douchebags get arrested, and that's that. But one thing you can see through, but it's clear that in his fantasies and in his flashbacks, is that Billy clearly has PTSD. The whole squad has PTSD, and like they get pretty edgy when people just touch them suddenly and like, hey, get the fuck off. And you have one of the squad members, he pushes one of the stage workers onto her ass. And I mean, I'm gonna cut this in a nutshell. Is that Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk is the war film that Whiskey Tango Foxtrot should have been, but wasn't, because of, well, the raging narcissist who was the star of that movie. So there, I said it. And which, being that I will be reviewing Whiskey Tango Foxtrot on Thanksgiving, well, it's quite obvious that my review won't be too kind on that film or the star of the film. But I would say, Billy Lynn is the better wartime movie. I mean, think we have three wartime. It's 2016, and we have 3 war movies and 2 boxing movies. Which, yeah, I have yet to go see Bleed for This. Well, I watched and reviewed Hands of Stone, so I might as well go see Bleed for This with Miles Teller. Oh yeah, we also have another war movie on November 23rd. We have Allied with Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard. So, my God, it's like there's just war movies galore this year. But anyway, I don't know about watching and reviewing Allied. I'm more interested about Moana with Dwayne Johnson. So, yeah, it's Disney. Anybody who knows me, I'm not a big Disney fan. I'm not too keen on animated films. They put me the fuck to sleep. But somehow I'm excited about Moana. So that will be, after my Thanksgiving reviews of Deadpool and Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, that will be my main move, general movie review, or regular movie review, however you want to say that. But as for my rating of Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk, I will say it's a grand old. I had a grand old time. 3 out of 4 stars. Well, being the one flaw is, well, okay. As for Billy's dumb fuck parents and gullible other sister, you don't give a shit about them. That's maybe the flaw about this movie. So that's my review, and you have a good one.